Howdy, and welcome to Beyond the Stream. It's an opportunity for me to sit back and learn a little something about some of the great employees at HTC. Hello, Jeremy Boyd.
Good morning, Jack. How you doing today?
Great. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to
You're
see you.
the Business Sales Supervisor at HTC, so that's a lofty title. We'll get into what a regular day is like for you, but do want to get into a little history of where you grew up. You from here originally?
Yes, sir. From Conway, born and raised. Family's been here for generations. HTC is, kind of synonymous with the area. So
Sure.
Was glad to have the opportunity to get on there, but originally from here in Conway.
Yeah, you were telling me you grew up out there in the Shell community, and you kind of floated that out there like I might not know where it is, but I've had some small engine repairs done out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shell small engine there on 66.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. My dad and my grandparents, they grew up at Shell. My dad and mom moved over to kind of the west side of Conway, out 378. I actually grew up over there.
Okay.
But I still have my grandmother, Jeanette, is still living, and she's on Shell Road. So,
Okay, yeah.
we go visit her out there, and my son and I, we'll go out there hunting and fishing, riding four-wheelers, doing whatever we can over that way.
Well, I'm not sure your grandmother's age, but I'm sure she remembers the early days of the co-op.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, getting that phone service was so huge back in the day.
Huge deal, especially out, in that rural area that, the AT&Ts, the Verizons, weren't providing phone service to those kind of folks. And HTC in 1952 came along and gave them the opportunity to connect with everybody.
Yeah.
So big deal for them.
You go back and do you hear stories at family reunions and whatnot of what life was like back in the old days before the telephone?
Yes, absolutely. It was a lot simpler time, for sure.
He didn't say it was the good old days. He said it was a more simpler time.
It was a lot more simple. You had to write notes to each other. You had to drive across town. You just showed up at folks' houses without letting them know ahead of time.
Right.
Just a different time in general, and there's the connectivity has brought us all closer together across farther distances. And as it's progressed, there's some good and some bad to that.
Sure. Yeah.
But for the most part, it's made it a lot easier to keep up with people, especially those that you might see at a family reunion.
Sure.
that you wouldn't see, but once every blue moon, now you can connect with them, talk to them anytime.
Yeah, pretty much instantly. 1995 was a big year too, because that's when internet service started coming out. It was very primitive.
That's right.
But still, that opened things up. And then the big investment that HTC did with fiber is just mind-blowing. I mean, they're putting fiber in places like Shell, and they go out to the Floyd's community in the western part of the county. And it has led to this being the largest co-op in the entire country, which is mind-boggling when you really start thinking about how big America is.
That's right. Yes, sir. So, being a cooperative is something I'm extremely proud of. All our shareholders at HTC are members. I think that's one of the competitive advantages we have, because instead of worrying about some shareholders on Wall Street or, folks like that, we're trying to achieve, the best possible service, the best possible price for all of our members.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the capital credits come in huge, and they have changed what the definition is of being a member of the co-op. You had to have certain services once upon a time, and that's pretty much opened up.
That's right.
Yeah.
So long as you're a member, and the fiber, as you mentioned, Jack, is a really big deal for us. We've got over 90% of our network is now fiber. We expect it to be 100% by 27, and the reliability, the consistency of fiber over any of the previous generations of infrastructure we had is night and day. The experience has totally changed for all of our membership because of that.
Is maintenance on the fiber easier to manage than the old days of the big copper?
It absolutely is. The whole setup's just a little bit more. It's easier to maintain, but the biggest thing is we have less trouble calls. You have less issues that you have to go out and fix because it is more consistent. It continues to speed in a way that coax copper just did not previously.
Sure. Well, I want to touch on how you got started, and then we'll come back and talk about some of the technical stuff. I know that's important to you as business sales supervisor, but what was your first day at HTC like? How did that all come about?
So I've been in sales now for a little more than 10 years. I decided, where I was previously, I was selling cars, which I enjoyed. But
oh yeah, I did too, man.
Yeah, I was thinking. You're a car salesman also,
son? Yeah, I mean everything. We did everything to a car except manufacturing. We'd find one with a few dings in it, put a little Bondo on it, spray a coat of paint on it. My family had an auto auction in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Oh yeah, buy here, pay here. Sweet words. Yeah. Sweet words.
That's right. It's it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it too. I think the work-life balance wasn't really what I was looking for.
I got you on that.
My wife and I were thinking about starting a family, so started looking elsewhere. And the first thing that I'm really, my first choice is to try to get on at HTC. I grew up here. I know it's a great place to be, and they had an opportunity for a door-to-door residential sales job.
Door-to-door
residential sales that I applied for, and my first day at HTC was August 17th of 2020.
Okay.
So a little more than 5 years ago. And, coming in, everybody was so welcoming. It's a very collaborative group across all the different departments. So, when you move into something new, telecom was new to me at that point. I had been selling cars previously, but the way everybody was willing to lend a helping hand to help me learn something, to help me pick something up, whether it be our internal systems, products, everybody was just really great to work with. Shortly after that, I went out into the field and started knocking on doors. And I really enjoyed that, Jack. It's nobody's the same. You meet.
Sure, yeah.
Nobody's the same. No scenario is exactly the same. It made things, different. Every day was different. It was a new challenge. You got to meet people, and no matter who you talk to, there's always something you can learn from, no matter who it is.
I'm looking at the math here. This is pandemic time.
It is.
When you're driving around knocking on doors.
It is.
Wow.
So we had they did not physically sign anything with me. We were all wearing masks. We had e-signatures, so I would send them an e-signature.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of times, especially early on, the conversation would take place between a screen door, or sometimes they'd open their window and I'd be standing on the porch. And
that's great.
So that was a little odd for a little while.
You went from selling cars to being a door-to-door salesman in COVID.
I did.
That's optimism right there, buddy.
Yes. I had a goal to move on out of there, to find a new career path, and obviously, as you say it, doing door-to-door sales in COVID, that sounds a little wild. But,
yeah.
I feel very blessed to have taken that opportunity. It certainly worked out in my favor.
How about that?
Yes, sir. I moved on from doing door-to-door residential sales to doing door-to-door business sales. So I was a business salesperson for about a year and a half, and it was basically the same job. I'm going to folks, meeting folks out in the field that maybe don't have our service, talking to them about what they have, what issues they might be having, what are their problems, and talking to them about how we can help resolve them.
Sure.
That worked out. Was able to onboard a lot more HTC members through, nothing really I was doing. It's just the product itself, the pricing that we have, just making people aware so they can make the most informed decision. And I moved on from that into a sales leadership role for about a year, and then I think it's a year and a couple months ago I became the business sales supervisor. And we've got a outstanding team of salespeople, Jack. I mean, it's all the things we've been able to do is all due to them. I mean, a really good group of people that have a genuine interest in the businesses we serve doing well. We're partners that try to stand shoulder to shoulder with these folks. That's our competitive advantage, right? We genuinely care. We're very authentic about what we're doing. We're not going to try to talk you into something that's not going to help you out.
Right, sure.
We want to do what makes sense for you, what makes sense for your business, and kind of just stand alongside you as a partner. And the group I work with is outstanding at that.
It's got to definitely make a difference, and the customer. You really, selling used cars has prepared you well for rejection.
Oh yeah,
and that's a big part of it. But having been there on the forefront of business customers I think would be a little more willing to your product, but they've already counted the beans and stuff. You guys do some bundled services for businesses, which
we do.
It kind of makes it kind of a no-brain thought to just get on board with you guys.
That's right. I think what we've seen recently, we do a smart business bundle, and that comes with our tier 1 broadband for a business is 750 megs, and you get 1 dial tone. And for a while there, we kind of saw the dial tone kind of going away for some
right.
A lot of people were working from cell phones, and now there's like this resurgence to the dial tone because people realized, well, I'm running a small business. I don't necessarily want every person to have my cell phone number.
That's true. Yeah.
So they can take this dial tone and they can forward that dial tone to their cell phone. That way you can kind of differentiate what's for work, what's personal.
Sure.
It makes things a lot easier. And packaging that as a bundle, like you said, a lot of times it's a no-brainer because we do run into folks who are paying. They might be paying one provider for their landline, one provider for their internet, another provider
sure.
for their security, and HTC really offers a one-stop shop when it comes to this kind of thing.
Yeah, and based on when you got that contract, you got to honor the contracts and stuff. So having it all simplified is what you guys do best. It really is, and I know that you're in the business side of things, but it is good to know that you got great tech on the backside if there's any issue that arises.
Absolutely. We've got the best in the business when it comes to technical support. Our 24/7 technical support line also is in Conway. Anytime you call HTC, you're talking to somebody in Conway.
Yeah.
I think the locality of HTC is a huge thing for most folks that a lot of them, that's another thing that they might just not have been aware of.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the issues and one of the things that we all deal with from time to time is calling an 800 number, talking to somebody who's half a country or even not even in the United States.
Right.
You've got to be able to communicate and articulate your problem to them. They are going to have to maybe tell it to somebody else. It's so much faster and better service to have a group here locally
sure
in Conway that you can talk to. And as far as on the technical side too, Jack, I want to say we offer what we call a managed service, managed network. Mm-hmm. And that's a custom network solution where we set up a firewall, access points, and there are other folks that do this also. But that's another thing that HTC can do, so it's all under one umbrella. And we don't have a blanketed type system for these businesses because they're all different.
Sure.
One might need 2 access points, one might need 5. You might need more than one firewall. You might need a bigger port than another person.
Right, yeah.
So we go out, we set up, we have a custom consultation with them about what they would need for that network. We set up all the equipment. We monitor it 24/7 from an office in Conway.
Yeah.
And if anything happens with that, we know before the customer does most of the time.
Sure.
Because it's monitored 24/7.
Yeah.
So what happens when you move into the kind of the mid-market of business, you have some of these products and service that are they're segmented. Like I said earlier, you've got one provider for this, one provider for this. And what happens when you do that a lot of times is people start pointing fingers at each other. It's like, well, the phone's not working. Well, it's not the phones, it's the internet. Well, the internet's not working. Well, it's not the internet, it's the network. But with HTC, there's nobody to blame.
Sure.
And we know from both sides of the equation what's going on, and we can fix it and get you back up and going a lot quicker.
I appreciate you coming to see us, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
It seems like you're still excited to go out there and sell the product.
I'm very excited about HTC.
It's a great product. It's easy to sell. Jeremy Boyd, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely. Business Sales Supervisor at HTC. Another great example of the folks that are working out there for you. Yeah, it's a lot more than just having that internet or your telephone. Well, man, they got a great team. And we appreciate you being part of this, too. Somebody's got to watch it. It's Beyond the Stream. Thanks again.